Off-road communities are like cults. Everybody has their favorite vehicle that they want to take on the trails. Well, today we have the best of America and the best of Europe that we're going to put head to head. Unfortunately, not on the trail, but we're going to see what has the best design, what has the best features, and also what handles best on the road. Between the 2022 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392 and the 2025 Defender X, a ultra luxurious off-road SUV that is made right in England. So let's get to it. All right, starting off in the front of these two bad boys, starting off with the Defender, we've got some similarities between the two, but a lot of differences as well. So of course we've got Defender stamped across with these like raised 3D letters. Very nice, very premium, and that is the name of the game with the Defender. We've also got halo headlights and daytime running lights and a little bit of turn signal lights. Also got some fog lights, fully functional venting all the way through as well. One thing that's cool about the headlights though, if you like quirky features, is that if you have your headlights on and use your front windshield washer, it actually sprays your headlights as well so that they get a little bit cleaned. But there's nothing to wipe them off, so they just get wet. I don't know. A little bit strange. But other than that, I do really like the front design of this. You've also got these black panels on both sides of the hood, which is definitely going to help with glare, especially if you take this bad boy out onto the trail. We've also got a Land Rover badge in the front as well. No surprise there. Coming over to the Jeep though, we do have a lot of similarities, but a ton of differences too. Starting off with the differences, we obviously have a front metal bumper, whereas we have plastic on the Land Rover. We've also got a winch, so that's obviously a huge difference. One thing that's also pretty cool is that you've got these other lights too, so you got more lights. We've got 3 more lights too, a front-facing camera, some halos, high beams, all good stuff. We got some hooks too. Very utilitarian front end on the Jeep. Obviously the Jeep does have some aftermarket parts and upgrades, so it's not totally stock, that's for sure. Other things that we do have on the Jeep, we've got some 392 badging on the hood. The scoop itself is actually called a hydro guide because what it does is it allows water in but separates it from the air intake. That way it just kind of goes behind the engine and dumps out, right? So that's cool. That's why you're not seeing a snorkel on it. But the Land Rover also has something very interesting for water that I'll go ahead and talk about now. It has what's called wade mode. So you can go through water about this high, which is pretty high, but you've got to go slow, you got to take it easy. A lot of people are going a lot faster in the Jeep, that's for sure, but it's definitely a unique feature. The Defender does also have airbag suspension, so if you lower it, the height obviously goes down a little bit further, but right now we have it in its highest position, so it's about up here that you can wade water in. Now, as we come further back from the front end on the Defender, we do have 20-inch wheels on the Defender, and they're like a gunmetal black. They look pretty good. However, if you do go up in trim, we actually get different brake calipers and different color rims and larger wheels as well. So you get up to 22-inch wheels straight from the factory. But on this trim, we have 20-inch wheels, no orange calipers, and still a pretty good looking wheel. Now, when we come over to the Jeep though, now these bad boys are some beefy tires. Over here, we've got the KO2 all-terrain tires in 35s with some very stylish beadlock off-road wheels on the Jeep. I love these tires. These are great tires for off-roading, and they look amazing on a Jeep, that's for sure. Coming back further, the Defender has even more functionality. We've got a fully functional vent right here on the side. Also, full 360 cameras that are extremely crisp on the Defender. So that's a really nice feature to have, and they are really good. Some of the best I've ever seen on any vehicle. Also, you've got one-touch lock on all 4 door handles going all the way around. You've got some unique color schemes as well, because you've got the gloss black at the bottom, the nice gray in the middle here, and then you get more gloss black at the top. Now, if we come back further though, you've also got a strange little square that just gives it a little bit of character in the back here. Also, you've got a push to release gas cap, and it does take premium. So you're gonna pay a lot for this car and you're gonna pay a lot for gas. Now, coming back further, I love the rear of the Defender. The rear of the Defender just looks amazing. Starting off with, we've got a couple tow hooks that are exposed. Again, if you go up in trim, you will get orange tow hooks. So that's kind of neat, I guess. Also, the Taillight scheme, I like it. The stacked squares, it looks good. It looks old, but it also looks modern. You know, it's pretty cool. Also at the top here, we've got a brake light and obviously a full-size spare. We do have our rear window wiper tucked behind our spare, so that's nice. I like to see that. Obviously, you can tow straight from the factory. No add-ons needed there. Now, before we get in, obviously we do have another Defender badge there. Overall, the rear just looks great. I love how these Defenders look. Getting in though, we do have a barn door style rear hatch, and again, lots of exposed rivets, very utilitarian, but still a lot of luxury and features that you're not going to get in a lot of SUVs especially. So right in here is where some off-road assistance stuff is, like your hazard triangle and such. So that's tucked in there, real easy to access. You got a little bit of storage here. Coming in further, it ships with rubber mats all the way through. And also you've got a privacy cover up here. You can lower and raise the car right from the trunk. Also, you got a 12-volt outlet on the left. You have a 110 volt on the right, and then a couple of pouches on both sides. And then also you get under here, which this is a pretty nice stylish plate there too. Looks good. But then you get under here and you've got more roadside assistance stuff, a first aid kit, couple keychains and stuff. And then they also have this whole like hanging system that you can utilize back here. It even comes with hangers. So there's a ton of stuff in here. You can basically do anything. Also, just the design focus of the rear is just amazing. You've got these tiny small windows in the back. You can put like a fire extinguisher or something like that right there. And then also you've got these other windows to let in a little bit more light, but it's not just overwhelming. I just really love the design of the Defenders. Now, going back over to the Jeep, it's a totally different story. It is nothing the same when we start talking about this. We've got rock sliders that were put on aftermarket. Obviously, you do get one button on their driver door that you can quick unlock or lock with. Other than that, you do not have full 360 cameras. You can take the doors off. You can take the roof off. We've got some aftermarket fender flares that actually look pretty good on it, if I may say so myself. And what's really cool is Jeeps don't take premium. Again, going back further though, it changes even more. We do get that full-size spare. We do have the rear window wiper tucked behind it, brake lights above the spare. We do have a couple tow hooks, obviously a receiver as well. The taillights are also kind of that square taillight style. I like them, they look good. Coming in though is where it gets a little bit different. Now back here in the Jeep, we do still have a lot of additional features, but not some of the more luxurious ones like we saw over there in the Defender. We do have a fold-out table. That is aftermarket. Very nice though, very sturdy, easy to raise and lower. I love these. These are great to have. Also, this is aftermarket as well. You got a nice little shelf that you can put stuff on because you might need to do that. We got a 12-volt outlet on the left. And that's about it. We have a sub here, a couple of attachment points so that you can tie things down or whatever you need to do. And then under here, we just have some tools and our winch remote, and that's about it. What is nice is that back here, you do have spots where when you take off your roof and your doors, you got a space to secure your nuts. Well, that about wraps up the exterior of the Jeep and the Defender. What we really need to do is get inside of them and see just how feature-packed they are. Starting off with the interior of the Defender, it is absolutely beautiful. They spared no expense anywhere on the interior of the Defender. On the door panel themselves, we've got 3-mode memory seats for both of the front seats, so you have memory functions on both front doors. Also, one-touch operation for all 4 windows. What's cool is the side view mirrors. You've got kind of like a little joystick to use instead of the typical 4 buttons. Obviously, you have your lock and unlock. We've got a 10-speaker surround sound system in the Defender. Now, if you go up in the trim, that's another thing. You get 14 speakers instead of 10, but I love the white and black. It's just very utilitarian, very unique, especially with all the exposed rivets everywhere. Imagine how much they could have cheaped out on this car and just threw plastic everywhere. What's nice is that you have 14-way, fully electronic front seats. So both of them are fully adjustable 14 different ways. Other than the seats though, you do have a little bit of a Defender logo down here on the door sill. Again, more rubber mats in the front and the second row. Now we do just have rubber pedals on this. Now if you go up a trim again, like I said, you do get metal pedals, so that's kind of cool. What is nice though, is that you're not just putting rubber on top of carpet. You actually can very easily pull this up and you have a rubber floor mat as well. So if you do end up wading water and you get a little bit inside, no big deal. You can just get it out. Hopping in though, now as you can see, the front of the Defender is just incredibly unique, and I love how it looks. Starting off with the steering wheel, we have the very unique steering wheel, obviously leather around the outside, but then we have like this very utility looking steering wheel with the spokes that are like holes in them and everything. It's just very cool. Defender stacked in the center. We have a lot of our multimedia functions on the left. However, this button on the upper right hand side is for your safety features and driver's assistance, how many warnings it's going to give you and everything like that. There's a ton of safety features on this trim. On the right hand side, we have more of our driver's assistance features, such as your cruise control, adaptive cruise control, and whatnot. Beyond the steering wheel though, we do have a 10-inch digital gauge cluster that shows a plethora of information. Whatever you're wanting to see, you got to see it. And then we've also got a heads-up display. Very nice. What is annoying though is that if you don't turn it off, it will beep at you if you go 2 miles over the speed limit. And it does it like every couple seconds. So turn that off. I would heavily suggest it. Now to the right of the steering wheel, we've got, like I said, a cubby here, another cubby going across there. We do have a Type-C USB port, a 10-inch infotainment center with a ton of stuff going on in it. Right now we're in the climate, but if we actually go to the air quality, we can see the air quality inside and outside. So right now we've got pretty good air quality. So that's nice. Now there are other things, and this is Land Rover's most up-to-date software, of course, but in here we've got Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, wireless for both. We've also got valet mode. We've got the full 360 cameras, and these, like I said, these 360 cameras are very nice. So you can also just tap all the cameras or the views and it will show you exactly what you're looking at. You've also got underbody cameras as well, so it will kind of map what's underneath you too. You've also got your off-road cameras where you can lock your front and rear differential, and then your towing camera too. So just absolutely loaded with cameras. And then there's still more in here too though. Like I said, we've got the wade sensing. So we turn that on. It'll show you how far the water's coming up, and you can set your different ride heights. You can even change it from feet to meters, because why not? You've got 4x4 info. So that's for your off-roading, your terrain info. And then also if you go into this menu, you can actually configure each terrain exactly how you want it. So that's pretty neat. Going into here more, you got low traction launch control and towing and trailers, driver's assistance, vehicle health. I mean, it's just a plethora of things. We can even look at the weather. You've got Alexa in here for your voice assistance, just a lot. And it's actually quite responsive. It's fine to use. It's been great. Now, there are some unique things going on here, because here you'll notice in the center, we have both our gear selector and our start stop button. And the gear selector is very unique. It's like a handle, and it's just a little bit strange, but I like it. It's kind of cool. Now over here on the buttons, we have a ton. So we've got the heater for our front and rear window, and on the rear it's actually on a timer, so it'll automatically shut off. You've got the auto start off, your downhill acceleration control, your ride height control, traction control, your 4-low, auto AC controls, and whatnot. Now, what's cool is you do have both heated and ventilated seats in the front for both your front passengers. Now, if you push down on one of the dials, the corresponding dial to the seat, you can actually control the heated and ventilated seats just by spinning the dial. So that's a little bit unique and kind of cool. What else is cool is coming back further, you've got a little slide out cubby that you can store stuff in and then put it away. A nice little spot for a bag or whatever. There's a 12-volt outlet down here and a Type-C port, so a lot of power options. But if we open it back up, behind there we've got two well-sized cup holders, a wireless charger, and then a rather unique center console. It almost looks like it would be a cooler, especially because you have the rubber gasket on the lid, but there's no drain or anything like that, so I probably wouldn't put ice in there unless you're feeling frosty. Going up above our infotainment center, we do have an auto-dimming rear view mirror with 3 HomeLink buttons, so that's always nice. We've got the controls for our ginormous panoramic sunroof, which is great. So you also can set the shade so that when you start the car, it automatically opens and automatically shuts when you turn it off, which is a cool feature to have, because I love driving with it open, but I also don't want the car to bake. And I'll also forget to close it. But in here, we do, both the front passengers do have illuminated vanity mirrors so that they can make sure they're looking pretty. Overall though, I would say the front of the Defender, it's just really unique, very luxurious, and ultimately very utilitarian as well at the same time. But let's see how that stacks up to the Jeep over there. Coming into the Jeep, it's a totally different story. We've got extremely light doors and not a whole lot going on them because they expect you to take them off. We've got net pouches on the bottom. We've got the typical Jeep door handles that you always see, just lock and unlock, and your side view mirror controls. No window controls or anything like that. Also, you don't have powered seats. They are fully manual, so you're gonna have to deal with that as well. We do have some rubber mats, but we also have carpet. So when you get it wet, better dry it. Hopping in though, it's pretty comfy. Got a lot of space. I feel like you have a lot more space than you do have in the Defender, and it's just extremely different inside overall. You do have a bit more shapely steering wheel, and I kind of like it because it's a little bit easier to grab for sure. On the left-hand side of the steering wheel, you do have your multimedia functions, and on the right-hand side, you've got your driver's assistance features. You do have a couple paddle shifters as well, which is unique. What a lot of people don't realize though is that the small buttons on the back of the paddle shifters are actually multimedia controls. So they are for track selection, play and pause and such. Now the Wrangler 392 Rubicon does have a V8 in it, and it sounds really good. So let's go ahead and check that out real quick. Listen to it purr, because it sounds fabulous. But also, what you'll notice is beyond the steering wheel, we've got a tiny little digital gauge cluster, but fully analog dials on the left and the right for your RPMs and your miles per hour. But you get some decent info as well in that little center screen. We've got some circular air vents, very different than what we see over in the Defender as well. Other than that, the only other features over here is basically the orange stitching that you'll see all around the interior of the Jeep. Now to the right of the steering wheel, it's a Jeep, right? It's very a Jeep interior, and that's about it. We've got our start stop button, some rubberized, somewhat weather protected buttons all in the center here. We have a 7-inch infotainment center, and this is not running the current software because it is a 2022. The newer software is a little bit better. You get a bigger screen and whatnot, but other than that, a lot of it is basically the same. What is cool is that in here you do have off-road pages, and it takes a minute to load. Once you load up the off-road pages, there is a good amount of information in here that you can look at. You can look at information about the drivetrain, your accessory gauges, your pitch and roll, and also your trail cam. So we do have a camera in the front and a camera in the rear. No underbody camera or anything like that though on the Jeep, but a lot of times you don't need it. Below there though, we've got a 12-volt outlet. Now this is a accessory outlet, so it only works when there's power onto the vehicle. And then you have your 4 window buttons, which only the front 2 are one-touch operation to go down, but you have to hold them all in order to go up, which is a little strange. I like one-touch operation. Just give that to me everywhere. To the right of there, though, we do have a Type-C port, a Type-A port, and an auxiliary jack, which is pretty nice. Down below there, in the red here, we've got our front and rear lockers, our off-road mode, our sway bar, and 4 auxiliary ports so that we can turn on all the lights and accessories you could ever set up in here. To the left, this knob here is our 4 high and 4 low, and then we've got our gear selector and our emergency brake. Other than that, we got a couple okay sized cup holders, rubber of course, so you know, if they get wet, no big deal. We've got a split action center console, so you got a little storage area here and then a little bit bigger one in here. You do have a 12-volt outlet in there, which is nice, so that's good to see. One thing that's cool about Jeeps is that above the infotainment center, we do have a little bit of storage space here, as well as an accessory point so that you can hang your phone or whatever else you want to put there. Up here, we do have an auto dimming rear view mirror, and then some buttons for assistance and SOS, and that's about it. Our home link buttons are actually located on the driver visor. In the side of the visors though, we do have illuminated vanity mirrors, just like we did in the Defender. Other than that, obviously, because it is a Wrangler, we can take off the roof. Those points are here, and then you have to unbolt it and things like that in the back. We're not going to do that today. What we are going to do, though, is we're going to check out the second row of the Defender and see how the second rows of the two stack up against each other. The interior of the Defender is just beautiful, and the second row is no exception. Obviously, we've got the same matching door panels on the rear, just like we had in the front, just a little bit less controls. You don't have any powered seats or anything like that back here, but I love the design. You've also got the split window. The back half doesn't unroll, of course. So again, full rubber mats in the rear. We've got a couple kangaroo pouches that are nets. Very nice. Good grab handle to hop up in here, and tons of space. I've got about 1.5 feet of space between my knees and the seat. Ton of headroom. It's a very tall SUV. What's nice is that the Defender also has 4-way climate control. So you can split your front zone and you can split your rear as well, which is really cool. And you do all that right here. You also have heated and ventilated seats in the second row, which is awesome. Love that. We have 2 Type-C USB ports, and that's about it right there. But we do have a very large and extremely padded cup holder and armrest in between the 2 seats here. Well, that wraps up the interior of the Defender, but we do have one more spot we got to check out in the Jeep. So let's go see how the second row is in the Jeep. Coming into the rear of the Jeep, not a whole lot changes from the front. The doors are exactly the same, very light, easy to move, no buttons on it or anything, just a lock and a handle. It is nice though that we've got this little step to hop up in here, and it's much more cramped than it is in the Defender. So we've got a lot less room back here, only like 3 inches of space between my knees and the seat, but we do have a lot of attachment points on the back of the seats, as well as a small like quarter pouch on the back too. But I love the attachment points. It's very useful, especially if you're actually somebody that goes off-roading and you need to carry a lot of tools and things like that. Now, we do have a couple window controls on the back here, so you can at least control those from the rear. We get a couple vents, so we do have dual zone climate control. Other than that, we do have 4 USB ports, 2 Type-C and 2 Type-A, and a 115 volt outlet. So that's nice. There's a lot of power options. Other than that, though, you can pull down the center here, which is a little bit different, especially different than the Defender. But you pull on that, and then you get an very lightly padded armrest, but some good sized cup holders and a spot to like put your phone or something. Aside from that though, it's definitely going to be loud back here. The interior of the Jeep is very loud. Also, you've got 2 massive speakers right in front of your face, so be ready for that. Well, that wraps up the interior of the Jeep and the Defender, so let's get these bad boys on the road and see how well they handle the road and what type of mannerisms they have, because I think I've got an idea of how it will be. All right, kicking things off in the Defender, it is pretty comfortable, to say the least. The seats are a little bit stiffer than you would expect, especially if you compare it to something like a GX. The new GX's seats are very plush and soft. The Defender feels like it might take some time to kind of wear it in a little bit, but they're very nice seats overall. The leather itself is really soft. The heated and ventilated portion of it also works extremely well. There's some ventilated seats I've been in where you can't feel any of it. This has no problem chilling the groin. But one thing I'm not really big on is the side view mirrors. They are a little bit small for this size of a vehicle. You don't get very good visibility out of them, especially because they're more up and down rectangular instead of like sideways. There's also no confusion in the amount of safety features this thing has. It has a ton. Of course, you have the heads-up display. So on there, it does show the speed limit and your current speed. And it also will start dinging at you if you are...
That's annoying.
It is very annoying. I turned it off the first thing I did. I was on a road that didn't even have a speed limit.
But can you turn off just not the head-up display, but can you turn off just the beeping sound?
Yep, just the dinging.
Okay,
you can turn that off. So that's nice. Also, you've got different levels of safety too. So some of it will turn off like your emergency braking or your parking sensors, but yeah, there's a plethora of things. You've got lane departure warning, you've got blind spot monitoring, pedestrian warning. So it's got literally everything that you could possibly need in terms of safety. Once upon a time, Land Rovers were known to be pretty top heavy, and that's why this also has an electronic stability control in it too, so you're less likely to roll it over, and it actually feels much better to drive than you would expect. Now, the body roll does still feel pretty heavy when you are going around turns, but not like it's gonna flip, so that's good. I actually really enjoy driving the Land Rover. I think that we're gonna have a very stark difference between the Land Rover and the Jeep.
Alright, Uncle Steve, check out this American Muscle Jeep. We did it before. We reviewed the final edition before, so this is my second time driving it. But this is lightly modified.
Yeah.
So it seems like exhaust has been modified too. It sounds so much better compared to the one that we test drove it. So
maybe EPA regulations have just gotten tighter since this.
So first impression or comparison to the Land Rover. It's a lot worth it, like you said.
Yeah.
And if you are over 50, it might break your back, you know.
Getting in it and out of it.
Getting in and out of it, and the bumps.
I told you, you're gonna feel it.
But that's okay. that's still okay because the engine is make this thing, I don't know, pleasure to drive it.
It is, yeah.
You know, if you are the truly off-roader, you would just probably buy this car.
Yeah.
Over the Land Rover.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a true off-roader, I don't think you would be picking up the Defender because...
Yeah, you probably have to buy the old one, the 90s one.
Right, exactly.
I need
Could
to
have made
focus. Oh, oh, now.
Yeah, right now.
It's pretty fast.
It is.
It's faster than. Well, one thing I tell you, this is much faster than the Defender.
Way faster. I mean, about a second and a half faster.
Yeah.
And the 0
Well,
to 60.
thanks for the engine. It's a V8 Hammond engine, 6.4 liter.
That's a bad mother trucker.
Yeah, it's 470 horsepower and 470 foot-pound of torque. That is about 70 horsepower more than the Defender.
Yeah.
However, the gas mileage, you cannot believe this. I couldn't too, you know, when I first looked at the paper, it's like, holy moly. 13 on the city, 17 on the highway, 13.
I mean, it's still getting a better average right now than we are in
1
the
mile,
Defender. So,
yeah, but 13, that's crazy. It's like your Lexus, your GX is what, 15?
yeah, I average around 13. So, yeah.
And yeah, my Land Cruiser is 11.
Yeah.
But hey, you got the horsepower on the side, so I would rather driving this than my Land Cruiser.
Yeah. No, it's way fun to drive, but if you're looking for comfort and everything like that, like, obviously the Defender has it beat there.
Yeah. And then the warranty is a little bit not as good as the Land Rover. So Jeep offers 5 years, 60,000 miles warranty.
Okay.
Whatever comes first. So it's about 1 year less, and then 10,000 miles. That's not much,
That's not too bad.
but I believe America will do a better job than Mr. Bean. You know, I feel like they're more reliable.
Yeah.
So that's a plus.
That is a plus. And it's cheaper to fix, you know. So
Yeah.
something happens to the Defender, you're out thousands of dollars. Whereas on the Jeep, it might be like a $50 part.
And as far as I know, people in the community, in the Jeep off-roading community, they know how to fix their own car.
Yeah.
A little thing or like to like engine swap, you know. So, and then used part selling. So there's a big community and actually save money if you buy a Jeep and do off-roading because you will break shit, right?
Yeah.
And if you drive in the Land Rover, you will break more shit. If you really want me to pick the Defender on this one, I probably take this one. Because I'm the guy that I don't want stuff to break all the time.
Right. I mean, if you got really fat pockets or something like that, I could see why you'd lean the Defender way. Or like, say, you know, you have a lot of commuting that you have to do too.
Yeah, or listing, right? Like such as listing is a good idea for luxury car like BMW, Mercedes, or the car that always breaks.
Yeah, yeah. But you'll have to let us know down below in the comments, what off-road vehicle would you pick? Would you take the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392, or would you take the Land Rover Defender in one of the many trims available? Like I said, there are 15 different ones. However, if you are in the market for a brand new SUV that you want to be off-road capable, I would highly suggest going and checking out the Land Rover Defender because you will not regret it. But let us know down below in the comments which one you would take. Smash up the likes, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next video.